FSAI to create awareness at all levels and to inspire people. Because if you want to influence a human mind, you either need to manipulate it or you need to inspire it. So if given an option, we all rather would not like to get manipulated, we would like to get inspired. So to inspire all of us today, as we all know, we have with us Dr.Gyanvatsal Swami from BAPS Swaminarayan Sant. He does not need an introduction. He has got millions and millions of followers on YouTube. Great fellowship he has got in real life, but still, as protocol demands, I would have to introduce him. So, by his profound knowledge and insights on wide spectrum of subjects you can read through, Dr. Gyanvatsal has participated in various conferences and inspired millions of people across India, USA, Europe, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. He has been one of the most popular motivational speakers from BAPS, creating an everlasting positive impact in people's life, transforming their intellectual quotient, emotional quotient, and spiritual quotient. And you can go through lots of videos which are there on YouTube. But today, we all are blessed enough to see him live here. So he has served as an entrepreneur also, interpreter also with earlier BAPS spiritual head, Pramukh Swami Maharaj Ji, in many of his religious tours, and he has been instrumental in carrying out many youth development and social cultural projects of BAPS at Gujarat, India. So without wasting any more time, Swami Ji, please आइए और हम सबको आपके ज्ञान से एनलाइटन कीजिए. Please give round of applause. He is, by the way, also an engineer. तो I think यहाँ ज़्यादातर लोग इंजीनियर हैं इस पूरे फोरम में.
गुणातीतो अक्षरं ब्रह्म भगवान पुरुषोत्तमः जनो जानन्निदं सत्यं उच्यते भवबन्धनात्. With prostrations at the divine feet of Bhagwan Swaminarayan, my Guru Hari, Param Pujya Pramukh Swami Maharaj, and my Prakat Guru Hari, Param Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj, my heartiest Namaskar, good evening, and Jai Swaminarayan to all the delegates of FSAI, that is PAC 2022, and especially FSAI Chairman Madam Ji, PAC Chairman Shri Pankaj Ji, Shri DK Ji, and last but not the least, Ankur Ji, because of whom we have got connected today. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to be with you all today. And I consider it my very special privilege because we belong to the same fraternity. You douse the fire in the outer world, we douse the fire in the inner world. You are fire, safety and security people for the materialistic world. We are fire, security and safety people for the inner world. And when you are with your gadgets, when you are with your outfits, you are in a different mood and a different mode. Fortunately, we are in our outfits and gadgets 24/7, 365. So we are always in a different mode and a different mood. The fire outside is an accident. Fire inside is not an accident. It depends upon your karmas and merits and happenings in life. You have special apparatus, special gadgets to prevent a fire, to detect a fire, and to douse a fire. In the same way, we also have special apparatus and gadgets to stop a fire within, to detect a fire. Those apparatus that we have is social counseling, is moral counseling, is spiritual counseling. So in short, we belong to the same fraternity, and because that we get ourselves reminded 24/7 that we are out for this, we wear the color of fire. This is the color of fire, and this has been selected by the great ancient rishis, the seers and seekers of India, that it constantly reminds us that first of all, we are not allowed to have our fires erupted, the fires of Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsar, Asha, Trishna, Ahankara, and Irsha within. And we are supposed to douse the same fires, the fires of emotions, angers and frustrations and everything, which many a times actually creates the fire outside. So the fire outside is majority an accident, but in many cases, the fire outside are man-created as well. Sometimes out of anger, and sometimes to get a good insurance. So many a times the fires are created outside. But first they are created in the hearts and minds of people. A fire of anger and frustration outside can create a fire outside. Inside can create a fire outside. Sometimes a fire of getting more and more riches within can create a fire outside ताकि इंश्योरेंस अच्छा पक सके. So basically we belong to the same fraternity, and today when we see the Make in India, Make by India, Made for India, wonderful presentations by different companies, I especially as an Indian would congratulate all the representatives of these companies that they are taking forward our country in making us a $5 trillion economy as envisioned by our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji. So when we talk of innovations at Respect 2022, when we talk of equipments, rethinking, redesigning and rebuilding, I would like to talk on the same topic: rethinking, redesigning and rebuilding. That is what your industry holds. That is what you fire people are for. To rethink the security and the safety measurements, devices and procedures, and then rebuild it. The same is with life as well. You need to rethink. You need to redesign. You need to rebuild. So these are the times in the 20th century and the 21st century where we have fancier houses but broken homes. We have double incomes and more divorces. These are the times of high-rise buildings but low-rise characters. These are the times of broader highways and broader streets but narrower viewpoints. These are the times when man has gone all the way to the moon and has come back, but he finds it difficult to cross the road and meet the new neighbor. These are the times of sometimes steep profits in businesses, but shallower relationships. The list is long describing the value system of the 20th and the 21st century man, but in short you can say that these are the times where we have much to show in the show window and nothing in the stockroom. दिखाने के लिए हमारे पास बहुत सारी चीजें हैं, लेकिन हमारे अंतर में शुद्ध भावना, मन में पवित्र विचार वो कम होते जा रहे हैं. इसलिए पहले फायर अंतर में होती है फिर बाहर आती है. I am talking of value-based living, value-based working and value-based relationships. यूनाइटेड नेशंस के कभी सेक्रेटरी जनरल हुआ करते थे डॉक्टर यूथ हैंड. In one of the general assemblies he said that first fire starts in the hearts and minds of people and then the fire starts outside. which is what we are experiencing and the world is seeing with broad eyes, open mouth in the present Russia-Ukraine conflict. First fires, they start in the hearts and minds of people. And then the fire comes outside. Those fires who spring up by accidents, you people can douse it. But those fires who spring up by the fires within, in the hearts and minds of people, from anger, frustration to all types of vices, and it's difficult to douse. That is where a value system comes in. That is where you need scriptures. That is where you need spiritual places. That is where you need people of religion and spirituality. On a fine Sunday morning, a gentleman was reading his newspaper, was interested in a fine story. He was deeply into it. And his just 7-8-year-old son leaped on him and said, "Dad, you promised me a fine cricket bat last week and the whole week passed and you didn't give me a good cricket bat." Dad said, "Sorry for that, my son, but tomorrow morning, the first thing I'll do is get you a cricket bat. Dad, you promised it last Sunday as well. And today I have a cricket match. And I just boasted in front of my friends that I'm coming on the playground today with my bat." And for a child of 7 and 8 to go to a cricket match, a local society match with his own bat, is a moment of pride. Dad said, "I'm sorry, but today the shops will be closed. I'll get one for you tomorrow morning." And the child was harassing the dad. And the dad was interested in reading a fine Sunday item. So the dad looked around. Can I engage this boy? He found an A3 size paper with a world map printed on it. He picked up the paper, showed it to the little boy and said, "See, this is the world map." Actually, the boy of 7 or 8, he has never studied geography. He has never seen a world map. His father explained it a bit. So this is India, this is Europe, this is Russia, China, this is England, this is Africa, this is North America, this is Latin America, this is fine, this is Asia Pacific. Now you'll have a good look at it. Then I'll tear it into small pieces. And then you need to redo it. Saying this, the father tore that piece of paper into like about 16-20 small pieces, shuffled it and gave it to the little boy. So you are supposed to use a sellotape and get it stuck well. I want to see the whole world map as I showed you. That he would not come back for at least 2 hours and I'll be fine with my Sunday newspaper. To his surprise, the little boy came back in 10 minutes. And he said, "Dad, job done." And the father was surprised. "How can you do it in 10 minutes? You never studied geography. You never seen a world map." And the little boy said, "Dad, I know. I haven't studied geography and not seen a world map." The dad was very surprised and he saw that the whole world map was well arranged. The little boy, with a broad smile on his face, pulled back the paper from his dad's hand and turned it around and said, "Look, Dad, behind the world map there was a picture of a man standing. I adjusted the picture of the man, I adjusted the man, and the world got adjusted." I adjusted the man and the world got adjusted. That adjustment of man is value-based living, value-based work, and value-based relationships. Because this tree is life. That value-based living, value-based working, and value-based relationship, then you will have less fires erupting within you. And at least you will save the society from man-made fires. And many a times, when it comes to value-based living and value-based working, you will save many accidents as well. So what is this value-based living? Value-based living means you commit yourself to the great value system prescribed by the great seers and seekers of life, well written in the scriptures, well propagated by spiritual personalities, by thinkers, which you imbibe in your life, for the betterment of your life, for the betterment of your family life, for the betterment of your social life, for the betterment of your professional and public life as well. Remember one thing, the greatest asset that you possess in life is not your academics. I'm also an engineer. I finished my engineering 30 years back in 1991. At that time we hardly or rather had no private colleges. So I know what is academics. It's not that I was not into it and telling you something else. The greatest asset that you possess is not your academics, is not your know-how, is not your intelligence, is not your experience, is not your platforms or back support systems. The greatest asset that you possess is a value system imbibed in your life. Do you agree with me or not? Yes or no? If you agree, just raise your hands. The greatest asset that you possess in your life is a value system imbibed in your life when it comes to ethics, norms and disciplines in life. All the talents and intelligence and academics that you possess can open any door for you. But remember, only your value system, ethics, that is love for ethics and your character can keep that open. Otherwise you can become zero from hero within seconds. You will burn in the fire of non-ethical living. You will burn yourself in the fire of non-ethical working. You will burn yourself in the fire of non-ethical relationships. Years back in 1990, a charity football match was played in Europe for the help of ex-footballers who didn't have enough money to even pay for their food bills of the month, forget the medical bills. Plus an awareness campaign against drugs, against corruption, especially prevalent in those times in the football fraternity. One team was led by Diego Maradona, the 1986 Argentina captain who led Argentina to the World Cup victory, considered by a class of people as one of the greatest footballers ever in the history of the game. Maradona and his team wore the t-shirt, "Say no to drugs." And the opposing team was led by Michel Platini, a great Frenchman, again a great footballer. Him and his team were wearing the t-shirts, "Say no to corruption." Between the two greats was another giant, King Pelé from Brazil, considered by most of the people in the football fraternity as the greatest footballer to have walked this planet. The match was played, packed stadium, with the ticket, with the sponsorship, millions of dollars gained, rather raised, well distributed, a corpus fund made. 5 to 7 years later, Maradona was caught as part of a drug cartel, and he himself being a drug abuser. He was banned from football for 6 months. And 35 years after this, in the year 2015, Michel Platini, as European football head, got entangled in a corruption scandal and he was banned for life from football. He could not take up any positions now for lifetime in any football associations. What they stood for, what they prescribed to the fraternity, and they failed to live to that value system. They both fell from grace, the two great names. And at that time also, the neutral one standing in between the two, King Pelé, still holds that position with grace as a person of ethics. So again I would repeat that the greatest asset that you have in your life is your value system. For any profits, for any gains, for any kind of trying to soar the heights, never play with ethics. Can you play with fire? Actually, you are firemen, you people are playing with fire to douse it. But using the normal terminology, can you play with fire? Can a normal citizen play with fire? No. In the same way, you cannot play with ethics. Those who played with the cricket ball, trying to reshape it, had to leave cricket. Those who played with the banks had to leave India. Some are in London, some are in the Caribbean islands. The processes are on to bring them back. When they'll be back, when they open the mouth, they will be in trouble. Many biggies will be in trouble. Very simple. Even if you are an electrical engineer for 20 years or for 30 years, and maybe you are the chairman of a giant state level electrical corporation, I ask you a very simple question. Can you put your finger inside the plug? Can you? Can you tell to the electric plug, yes, I am the chairman of the corporation. I have 35 years of experience being an electrical engineer. And your entire distribution in the whole state is under my authority. And this is your chairman's finger, okay? I'm putting it inside the plug. Please take care of it and welcome it with a bouquet and a garland. No. Even the chairman of an electrical corporation and 25 years of an experience as an electrical engineer cannot put his finger inside the plug. Yes or no? Because electricity doesn't know your post, position and power. Fire doesn't know your post, position and fire in the same post, position and power. In the same way, ethics doesn't know your post, position and power. So ethics is like electricity and fire. As you can't play with electricity, can't play with fire, you can't play with ethics. Whoever you are, whatever you are, wherever you are. Do you agree with me? Otherwise you become zero from hero within seconds. As happened with Diego Maradona, as happened with Michel Platini, and happened with many. So value-based living is the most important aspect of life. In the same way, value-based working at your workplace, during your working hours, you should be fully loyal to the organization. You should be fully loyal to the principles of the organization that you work and get paid. You should be fully in terms with the designs, fully in terms with the processes of the organization that you work in. Otherwise, you will not enjoy your work. You will never progress in life. You will never be able to satisfy yourself when it comes to your working career. So value-based working as well. The organization that I come from, the BAPS Swaminarayan Sanstha, we are one of the largest organizations in the world with a permanent status in the United Nations as an NGO. We have more than 1,300. Many of the corporations and companies presented their slides, presented their videos, and gave some information about them. Why I'm sharing this with you? Because this level of an NGO, with all the ethics, norms and disciplines well maintained, we have more than 1,300 hospitals, hostels, schools, colleges, community centers, sanskar dhams and akshardhams all over the world. Most of you might have visited the Swaminarayan Akshardham at Delhi. Just raise your hands if you've been there. Or Gujarat, whatever. Like most of you, I come from that organization. We do 162 different kinds of social, cultural, educational, environmental, medical activities. And you would be surprised to know we set up an institute for social service in the society. Every 15th day, it's a record since 50 years. Imagine somebody sets up a new R&D center, even a new dealership every 15th day. It's a great company, isn't it? We at BAPS, we set up a hospital, hostel, school, college as an NGO. Every 15th day, it's a record since 50 years. So every 15th day, a land is acquired or we get as a gift. What to do on that land, the hospital, hostel, school, college is decided upon. Tenders dished out, first of all, legally cleared the land, then the architects, they design the plan. The plans are passed in the local government bodies. Tenders dish out, construction starts after the groundbreaking ceremony. The 257-story building done, inauguration ceremony plan, 25 people dedicated to the organization, decided upon to be full-time in the organization there. Another staff, 25, 50, 100, whatever paid staff decided upon, and inauguration ceremony done, the organization put in the service of society. The whole story that I described happens in our organization every 15th day. And we are quick to respond, as you people need to be very quick to respond, isn't it? Firemen are always expected to respond very quickly, because you all people, half of your life, perhaps more than that, live with emergencies and urgencies. We as an NGO believe in this theory that when it is an urgency, when it is an emergency, you should respond very quickly. So today when I am talking to you, we have set up shelter homes, we have set up kitchens on the Ukraine-Poland border, and at this moment when I am talking to you, every meal, that is breakfast, lunch and dinner, more than 1,000 Indian students are being taken care of on the Poland border by BAPS volunteers. The Prime Minister of India, Honorable Shri Narendra Ji Modi, personally called one of our elder saints, Pujya Brahmyari Swami, and said that we must start something of help, especially for the meals and shelter homes for these students who are stranded there in Ukraine, and some of them walking 40 to 60 kilometers a day to reach Poland border. So our volunteers from Switzerland, from France, they drove down like 22 hours from Switzerland with huge kitchen vans, and we have started feeding them fresh hot meals. So like you, we are also emergency response team. As you respond to fire, we respond to needs. As you douse the fire outside, we douse the fire inside. Because we strongly believe that a combination of spirituality and social service is the right combination to uplift mankind in all walks of life. The organization that I came from, the BAPS Swaminarayan Sanstha, the one person who lifted this organization to this level was our Guru Pramukh Swami Maharaj. Many of you might have heard the name, the creator of Akshardham at Delhi. At present, we are creating on 265 acres of land in Edison, New Jersey. In your language, setting up new units, setting up new factory, manufacturing plants, setting up new R&D centers. And the Sheikh of Abu Dhabi, His Royal Highness Sheikh Zayed, he gifted our organization 27 acres of land on Dubai-Abu Dhabi Expressway to come up with an Akshardham-like complex. The construction is underway and we have set up the project. Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati rivers will flow at the entrance in the desert area of the UAE. Wow. So we also come up with this grand international projects. But I'm talking of Pramukh Swami Maharaj, who himself created 1,300 institutes in a span of 50 years. I'm talking on value-based working. First I talked about working. how value-based is this? First, value-based working means intense hard work. System has been put by nature, designed by God, that every living entity upon this earth has to work hard in their respective fields. Yes or no? Today when I am talking to you on the 3rd of March, this is my continuous 7th talk in 7 days in the 7th city of the 5th state of India. Again, the after tomorrow I'll talk at the National Entrepreneur Summit in the Lalit, Mumbai. I'll talk at the Orthopedic Surgeons Conference at Silvassa in Gujarat. Everybody has to work hard. But intense hard work is not just a human duty. It's not just a human endeavor. It's a human dignity. There is a proverb in the North African jungles that every morning when the sun rises, the slowest gazelle, that is the deer, has to run minimum faster than the slowest lion to see the evening. And the slowest lion has to run minimum faster than the slowest deer to see the evening. So at the end of this story, the proverb says, so whether you are the lion or the deer, when the sun rises, you have to run. So nature and God has put the element of hard work in each and every living entity. Value-based working, my first point is intense hard work. As I said, when I talked about value-based living, with ethics, with norms and with disciplines. In the year 2000, when our Guru Pramukh Swami Maharaj was traveling from London to New York, it's a 7-hour flight from Heathrow to JFK. His age at that time was 80 years. From London to New York, just a 5-minute washroom break, he read and answered 325 letters. Pramukh Swami Maharaj traveled to 60 countries, 18,000 villages, towns and cities to uplift humanity in all walks of life. He personally visited more than 3.5 lakh homes. He personally met and counseled more than 4 million people. People used to write letters to him for their personal issues, family issues, professional issues, with a clear-cut desire for a guidance, not just blessings. Such 7.5 lakh letters read and answered in a span of 45 years at an unbelievable average of reading and answering more than 70 letters a day without a Sunday for 45 years. Imagine if you go after this conference back on 7th March, Monday morning to your office and open your office mail and you find like about 25 mails to answer before lunch break. What happens to you? Pramukh Swami, in the midst of all this, he read and answered 70 letters a day without a Sunday for 45 years. Intense hard work. And he initiated more than 1,200 saints like us. And out of the 1,200 that we are in the organization, more than 750 of them are graduates, postgraduates, chartered accountants, doctors and engineers. More than 150 saints in the organization are born American and British citizens. More than 50 saints in the organization, they have studied in Ivy League colleges, Stanford, Harvard, Carnegie Mellon, Yale. ये तो मैंने आपको इसलिए कहा कि आपको ये नहीं लगे कि कुछ जमा नहीं होगा, कुछ ठीक नहीं चला होगा, इसलिए यहाँ आ गया। सब कुछ जमा हुआ था, सब कुछ अच्छा चल रहा था, लेकिन समाज सेवा करनी है, अध्यात्म के मार्ग पे चलना है, लोगों को अच्छे विचार देने हैं, इसलिए हम यहाँ आए। We know why we are here, we know what we are doing, and we know what we are supposed to do. तो वैल्यू बेस्ड वर्किंग में प्रथम बात आती है इंटेंस हार्ड वर्क विद एथिक्स, नॉर्म्स एंड डिसिप्लिन्स। आप भी इंटेंस वर्क करते हो। If there is a fire somewhere and you rush there, I'm talking of the firemen, at your companies, for your products, for your R&D, go beyond the call of duty. Go beyond your salaries. Go beyond your responsibilities. That is human endeavor. जितना मिलता है उतना काम करके देते हैं, वो तो एक सौदा है. If you want to grow, if you want to contribute, if you want to enhance your quality of working and living, you have to go beyond your working, beyond your responsibility, and beyond the call of duty. Second important aspect of value-based living is, he is he, I am I. He lives his life, I live my life. He enjoys his prarabdha, that is his destiny. I enjoy my destiny. He goes through his karma, I go through my karma. Basically, he is he, I am I. Then no envy or ego with anybody. No fire of envy within, no fire of jealousy within. I am giving you safety apparatus, security apparatus of not having a fire from within. अरे यार, ये कंपनी ने तो आज पता चला 21 R&D सेंटर उनके पास है. अच्छी बात है ना, पॉजिटिवली लो ना. चलो हम भी कुछ कर सकते हैं. Envy doesn't burn anybody else than the person who carries it. Envy doesn't pull down anybody else than the person who carries it. So no fire of envy within. Even after seeing 5-7 company videos, this growth, we congratulate them, we wish them, we pray for them. They are there, I am me. I will also try to walk on my path. You save yourself from the fire of envy. You save yourself from the fire of jealousy. So this is the thought that I am giving you, a security apparatus for not having a fire of envy within. प्रमुख स्वामी महाराज को किसी ने पूछा कि कौन सा विचार आपके मन में हमेशा रहता है. This level of working. प्रमुख स्वामी महाराज ने कहा कि जो विचार मेरे मन में कभी नहीं आया मैं बताऊं, and that was more interesting. प्रमुख स्वामी महाराज से किसी का भी अहित हो ऐसा विचार मुझे जीवन में कभी नहीं आया. कहां फायर आई अंदर? नो फायर ऑफ एनवी और जेलसी. किसी का भी अहित हो ऐसा विचार नहीं आया. Another good aspect of value-based living is keep your eyes small even if you reach the pinnacle of your success. Because ego has the power to burn all your belongings within as the fire burns all the belongings outside. All your achievements, all your successes, and all your prestige in the society can burn within seconds in the fire of ego. Do you agree with me or not?
Absolutely.
Keep your eyes small, because we are not even a speck of dust in the entire existence. Yes or no? If you want to create a map of the universe, that map doesn't have the place to keep a dot for our world. Then where are you? Where are me? Where is somebody? And every third person sitting beside you is perhaps in some way academically more qualified or more intelligent or more experienced than you. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Then why to keep this ego? That I did this and we achieved this. Keep that within you to constantly inspire you to scale more heights, to achieve more. But never exhibit it, never express it. Be always a humble personality. Pramukh Swami Maharaj was welcomed in the British Parliament with a standing ovation. Another value-based working which saves you from fire within, and fire within your company is know the person who is working with you well, then knowing the professionalism in him. You need to know the professionalism in him so that to make him more apt for the profile, for the working station, for the system. But at the same time, you must know the person as well. Sometimes we are clearly on the professional lines and we forget to know the person himself. Many years back, at the Standard Oil company in America, an employee made a mistake of taking a wrong decision, and because of that, the company suffered a loss of $2 million. I'm talking of the 70s. And in the 70s, $2 million is a huge money. Even today it is. At that time, it is extraordinarily huge. The owner of the company, J.D. Rockefeller, was apprised of the situation. Next day morning, Rockefeller called the employee in his office, in his personal chamber, and the employee knew that he's going to fire me. He's going to just chew me out and throw me out of the company. Rockefeller offered him a seat, offered him a glass of water, and then pulled out a piece of paper from the drawer. And the employee started shivering that this could be a long list of my maybe mishappenings, of wrong decisions, or maybe a couple of misdeeds in the company, and this could be drastic. This can be a disaster. And he was like shivering. Rockefeller said, "Calm down." Then Rockefeller loudly said out about 8 to 10 items that because of your decision, because of your working, because of your idea, or because of your some planning, so far the company has gained. Then lastly said, the ethics with which you have worked with the company, your contribution to the company, your integrity with the company sounds so much large in my heart and head, in my thoughts and my words, that you are just one wrong decision that has incurred the loss of $2 million in the company doesn't come in front of my eyes. You are not fired, but today I give you a promotion of 2 standards. You are promoted 2 steps so that you are better authorized to take the decisions, because I know that there is a fire in your heart to pay back this $2 million with interest to the company. I can understand you more as a person than as a professional. This is called value-based working. And the employee did exactly that. The trust that was put on him, he lived to that trust, and within a span of 1.5 years, because he was promoted and more authorized to take decisions, and he could make it. So know the person well. Again I repeat, know the professional in him, so you can well set him in the system at a stage. At the same time, know the person well, so that you can save some fire in your office. You all are firemen, so I'm talking from different angles. Value-based living. First was value-based living, second is value-based working. Third is value-based relationships. In 1986, our present Guru Hari Mahant Swami Maharaj, who at present is 90 and working unbelievably, he attends more than about 2.5 to 3 hours of administrative meeting, 35 to 40 incoming, outgoing calls, because we being such a huge organization and he being the president and the spiritual head of the organization, he needs to have his inputs, and attending more than about 100 letters a day. In 1986, when we were upcoming with the project of Sang and Akshardham at Gandhinagar in Gujarat, Mahant Swami Maharaj and a group of our saints, they were touring different places all over the globe to meet museums, to see the museums, to meet the curators, and know from them, have some advices and inputs from them, how best we can present our ideas, ideology, artifacts at the Swami and Akshardham in Gandhinagar. As part of the tour, they happened to visit the Mercedes-Benz plant at Stuttgart in Germany. The PR guide who was taking the saints along, the whole group along, would time and again say that all the innovation that we make in the car is purpose for one only. That is, the purpose of it is how to have more safety and security of the driver and the passenger. Our principal words of the conference is safety and security. How to be well placed that we can provide best security and safety to all the people in the car. So we have designed that in case of an accident, a balloon sprouts out that is from the steering, and between the steering and the driver's chest. It works as a cushion, and that can save the driver's life, not allowing the steering to gush into his ribs, into his lungs. That was an innovation at that time in 1986. It was with the Mercedes-Benz. Today we find it in many cars. At that time it was an innovation. I welcome my friend Dayanandji to this conference. He is the Chief Security Officer of the Goa Airport. So the PR guide was time and again telling that the principal motto is to safeguard the lives of the driver and the passengers, and this is an innovation. Everybody, the whole group were impressed. One of our friends asked him a very simple question: who actually does the accident? The car or the driver? And the PR guide said, yeah, you are right, it is not the car. And the same question today can have a couple of more answers when it comes to Tesla. But in those times, they were all like person-driven cars. So they said, of course, the driver creates the accident and not the car. Then our saying said, we need innovation at both the places. We need improvement at both the places. In the car, when it comes to technology, and in the person, when it comes to values. Don't drink and drive. Don't get carried away in an emotional happening of the past. Don't misjudge. And he said, yes, Swami, you're right. We need to improve upon the human beings as well. So, by this, I want to share a wonderful point with you. Ask yourself every day in the morning, where can I make a small change in myself so that I can better fit my ecosystem? So that I can be of a positive value in my environment, in my surroundings. That is called value-based relationships. And that will douse many fires that erupt in relationships. Where can I make a small change so that I don't create a fire in my relationships? You will be surprised to know that every day in the city of Delhi, more than 60 cases are registered for divorce. Every day at the family court in Bandra, more than about 70 cases of divorce are being registered. Every day, that is in 24 hours, in the twin city of Hyderabad and Secunderabad, 100 cases of divorce are being registered. क्या होता होगा पता नहीं. Fire in relationships. And what is the apparatus for that? The thought process of introspection. Where can I make a small positive change in myself so that I better become a family person, so that I better fit my ecosystem? हम सभी को ये लगता है मैं तो बहुत ठीक हूँ, मेरे विचार सब अच्छे हैं, मेरी प्रवृत्तियां सब बढ़िया हैं, मेरा बिहेवियर पॉजिटिव है. I don't know, something is wrong with my spouse, children and family members. I am perfectly okay. लेकिन आपको पता है सभी फैमिली मेंबर्स अपने बारे में यही सोचते हैं कि I am okay, there's some problem with the other person. इसलिए मैं आपको ये फायर apparatus देता हूं, एक डिवाइस देता हूं, that is a thought process. Where can I make a small change in myself so I better fit the ecosystem? आपको जान के ताजुब होगा कि 5% of all these divorce cases registered in the family courts, 5% of them are of the people above the age group of 60. अब भाई साहब 35-40 साल चल गए, अब 10-15 की बात है, चला ले. लेकिन फायर इन रिलेशनशिप, और ये फायर कैसी आती है पता है कैसे आती है? मैंने जैसे कहा, doesn't want to change, to accustom, to fit. And the principal, one of the principal 5 reasons for divorce among couples above the age of 60 is speed of the fan in bedroom. One of the principal reasons of divorce among couples above the age of 60 is the speed of the fan in the bedroom. इतना तो change कर, इतना तो system को adjust करने का प्रयत्न कर, ताकि relationship में fire ना आए. And if at all you feel that the speed is too high, go under the bed. Have a double blanket. Another principal reason among the top 5 of divorces among people above 60 is suddenly my husband or suddenly my spouse has just lost the sense of well-dressing, of just presentable style. After the age of 60, a simple kurta pajama is a good lifestyle and a good dressing. Okay, accept it. What I mean to say, value-based relationship, otherwise there will be fire in relationship, and the safety and the security concerns in the fires of relationship is a wonderful thought process, and that is where can I make a small positive change in myself so I better fit my ecosystem. So I talked to you about 3 things: value-based living, value-based working, and value-based relationship. This all depends upon your attitude towards people, attitude towards circumstances, attitude towards happenings in life. See, what happens with you is only 10%, how you take it is 90%. हमारे गुरुहरि प्रमुख स्वामी महाराज कई बार सिखाते थे, किसी ने आपको गधा कहा, गाली दे दी, you feel insulted and a fire erupts, a fire of anger, and you roll your sleeves. उस वक्त सेफ्टी और सिक्योरिटी डिवाइस क्या है? प्रमुख स्वामी महाराज सिखाते थे, किसी ने आपको गधा कहा, एक्टिवेट योर सेफ्टी एंड सिक्योरिटी सिस्टम. वो क्या है? मेरी सफेद चमड़ी है? नहीं है. लंबे लंबे दो कान है? नहीं है. 4 पैर है? नहीं है. पीछे एक छोटी सी पूंछ है? नहीं है. मैं बोलता हूं? नहीं. मैं तो बोलता हूं, मैं गधा नहीं हूं, मैं तो मनुष्य हूं. इतना ही सोचना है. What a stability to not allowing that fire to erupt. जैसे फायर अलार्म सिस्टम होती है हमारे सभी मंदिरों में, अक्षरधाम में है, कई जगह पे है. तो थोड़ी भी स्मोक आती है and the alarms are on and the system comes into play, isn't it? You have been towards Akshardham in many places for the system. In the same way, थोड़ी भी स्मोक आए एंगर की, फ्रस्ट्रेशन की, तो उस वक्त ये अलार्म सिस्टम होनी चाहिए ताकि आप स्टेबल रह सके, अपने आप को संभाल सके, वरना आप अपने फायर से मर जाएंगे. So attitude towards people, attitudes towards circumstances, attitude towards happenings in life. कुछ happenings आपके जीवन में ऐसे हुए which can erupt fires. For example, your young son of 22 years, after having a wonderful master's degree from a foreign university, dies of a car accident, emotional fire. Suppose your partner betrays you and chiffons off the cash. We don't know, Bharat Pay. And that's again a fire of anger, fire of frustration. ऐसी situations जब खड़ी होती है, you have to have a system. You need a device to control it, to stabilize yourself. Otherwise, you will lose your life. Do you agree with me or not? So when it is circumstances happening, a wonderful advice has been given by Bhagwan Sri Krishna in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. That is the essence of all value-based living, value-based working and value-based relationship. Karmanyavadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. He tells Arjuna and thus all of us that your job is to perform your duty well. Perform with the best of resources that you possess. Lord Krishna says, final results I will decide. ये मैं आपको प्रैक्टिकली प्रूव करके दिखाता हूं, लॉजिकली आपको प्रूव करूंगा. This is not just faith words. There is sincere logic into it. There is experience logic into it. मैं 2 प्रश्न पूछूंगा, आप सभी हाँ कहेंगे. मैंने कहा इसलिए नहीं है, आप अंतर में से उसका उत्तर हाँ कहेंगे. First, all of us have a working experience. that sometimes we plan well, we execute well, we have the best team, we have the best resources, still we don't get the desired results. Yes or no?
Yes.
Tell me a louder one.
Yes.
Second thing, sometimes because of some time constraints or resources constraints, we are able to plan less, execute a bit inferior, and not expecting even a normal result, and we get results beyond our expectation. Yes or no?
Yes.
Have you ever given a thought to this? इस पे विचार करेंगे तो आपका आय और ईगो कम हो जाएगा. यार पिछली बार तो प्लानिंग अद्भुत किया था तो भी रिजल्ट नहीं मिला, एग्जीक्यूशन अद्भुत किया था तो भी परिणाम नहीं मिला, और इस बार तो एग्जीक्यूशन कम था, प्लानिंग कम था, रिसोर्सेज कम थे तो भी एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी रिजल्ट्स बढ़े. एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी रिजल्ट्स आपको मिले. What does that mean? That means this, what Bhagwan Krishna says in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, that results I will decide. To work with all the resources that you have, to work ethically and to work with intensity is a human endeavor. You do your work. Results, God says, according to your prarabdha, that is destiny, karmas, past merits, your emotions, work processes, envy, jealousy, anger, all coming into play during the process of that work. Everything is taken into account to give you the final result. That includes office politics and office leg pulling as well. Final result is dependent upon that. And if you sit back, you will be able to introspect and tell yourself, convince yourself, as simple as that if there are 10 factors positively affecting the success of your project, there are 10 factors affecting negatively to the failure of your project which are not in your hands. Policies may change, systems may change, devices may change, a new company comes with new R&D and changes the scenario, procurement this, manufacturing this, everything. There is only one constant upon this earth, and that is change. The only one constant upon this earth is change. So things constantly change and evolve. So believe, accept, get convinced, and walk on the path that 100% outcome of my project is not in my hands. But that doesn't mean that you run away from your duties, your responsibilities, your hard work, ethics, and your commitments. That part is human endeavor, and this belief is a security and safety apparatus for you to not get frustrated. Fire of frustration erupting within, fire of anger within, fire of losing out a project or losing out a tender within, fire of envy with a rival company, and thus burning yourself. This is the security and safety apparatus for it. This is the thought process. That I worked, I put in my best foot, results I will decide. Pramukh Swami Maharaj was once in Vallabh Vidyanagar, a small town in central Gujarat. And Natubhai Patel, the general manager of the Alcon Engineering Company there, a well-wisher of the organization. Whenever Pramukh Swami Maharaj would be there, he would come for darshan and blessings. He said, Swamiji, I have seen you from very close quarters from morning to evening, doing your morning puja or attending phone calls or writing letters or sitting in administrative meetings. I have never seen a wrinkle of frustration, anger, envy or tiredness ever on your face. And I'm just the general manager of the company. I'm not the owner of the company. But by evening time, मैं मूर्छा जाता हूँ. What is that special in you? And Pramukh Swami gave him this apparatus of thinking, safety and security apparatus. Pramukh Swami Maharaj said, every morning we pick up the work that we need to do, apply our best resources to make it happen, but in the evening we give it back to God with a prayer that I tried out my best, now whatever results you give, I will accept it, so you will never need a pill to sleep and you will never have sleepless nights. Because you are not the work that you do, you are not the visiting card that you hold, you are not the car that you drive, you are not the house that you live in, you are not the branded clothes that you wear, you are a human being, and being human is your duty upon this earth of 70 years of life. So keep that attitude. Another good aspect of living and relationships is a sense of unity and a sense of togetherness. Together we want to build the country. Am I right? Together we want to make and strengthen our societies. Together we want to sprout out with value-based citizens. A sense of unity, the sense of togetherness. And when you have a sense of unity, see, compete well in your market space, because you are all professionals and into the commercial and corporate world. But within yourself, you must have the sense of unity, a thought of unity. That together we need to build individuals, societies, and the nation. This is again a good security device that I am giving you. And nature has put this sense of unity. Nature wants us to remain united. In Western America, that is in California, there are the redwood trees which rise to 250 to 300 feet above the ground. Their trunks are huge. Even 10 people with their arms stretched out cannot hug the trunk of that tree. Anything that rises 250 to 300 feet must have their foundations deep, isn't it? But surprisingly, the biologists found that the roots of these trees are just 5, 8, 10 or maximum 10 feet deep. This was a surprise. Normally what happens above the earth, that is the surface of earth, Jameen pe, man fights for resources. Under the surface of the earth, the roots of the trees, they fight for water's minerals. Fight is an ongoing process. Surprisingly, they found that the roots of these redwood trees, they don't fight for water and minerals. They get entangled in each other. To devices, to apparatus, to procedures, to R&D systems, everything. एक बहुत अच्छी बात मुझे अभी लगी, डीके जी ने कही कि I am an ever learner. And I must congratulate you at that this age of 59, you did your PhD and your post-diploma graduation program at the age of 60. I think he needs a good clap. He deserves it. तो यहाँ कॉन्फ्रेंस में आए हो तो एक अच्छी बात लेके जाना दोनों क्षेत्र में, इन योर प्रोफेशनल कमर्शियल क्षेत्र में और जीवन में। एक अच्छे एपरेटस हमें भी बनाना है, वो भी तय करके जाना, और एक अच्छे वैल्यू, गुड वैल्यू, एक अच्छा वैल्यू मुझे भी जीवन में तय करना है, वो दोनों लेके जाना। A good value and a good apparatus, that is the success of your conference. A good device, well learned, and a good value, well learned, is the success of this conference. Do you agree with me? Yes. दोनों चाहिए. Be the best professional and be the best human being. That is human living. For that, I come into the last part of my talk. I'll finish in the next 5 to 7 minutes. The time that was given to me was like about 50 minutes. I'm just touching 50 minutes. So in the last 5 minutes I'll complete. For this, one important master key that I would like to share with you is believe in human values. Believe in the systems designed by nature. Believe in the words of the seers and seekers, that is on the spiritual path, and believe in the doings of God. एक तो मैंने आपको समझाया कर्मण्य वाधिकारस्ते मां फलेषु कदाचन, उस बात से मैंने आपको कुछ अच्छी बातें सिखाई. You talk of top class management gurus, top class relationship gurus, top class health gurus, they all teach faith in God to the delegates of their conferences and seminars. Not that because I am a man of God, I am walking on the spiritual path and I am one separate and I am a saint. I am talking to your faith in God. Let me tell you, more than 50,000 research papers have been prepared, produced by men of science, not men of religion, by men of science, in their national, international science conferences where some connection with God, maybe through prayers or chanting the holy name or meditation or visiting a spiritual place or reading a religious scripture, how it helps you physically, mentally and emotionally. Og Mandino has written a book, The Greatest Salesman in the World. At the end of the day, we are all salesmen, isn't it? Some sell ideas, some sell products and devices of their company, some sell speed of the blood flow in the veins and the arteries. Scientifically, by experiments, it is clinically proved that during these times when you are undergoing stress, if you just start chanting the holy name of God in whichever form that you believe in at high speed, a chemical called endorphin is released in your blood system from your pituitary glands. What does this endorphin do? It suppresses the effect of cortisol and epinephrine and gives you a happy mood, a calm mood, stability and a sense of wellness. Scientifically proved, when in stress, cortisol and epinephrine is released. When you chant the holy name during those times, endorphin is released. And you again come back to normal positions. So scientifically, everything that is written in our scriptures, everything that is propagated by the great spiritual seekers and seekers of India is all absolutely scientific. 100% scientific. I have such more than 500 papers or 500 such theories with me. Just sharing one with you. So it is a reality. It is a fact. Stephen Covey writes in his 7 Habits that of all these 3,000 successful people, I found one thing in common, that they believed in God, they prayed to God. Morning prayers is inspiration, evening prayers is distressing and detoxification. Try karte ho, theek hai, anubhav karte honge, best. If not, start this procedure from today. मैं आपको एक सुपर apparatus देके जाता हूं. Super, which can alarm, which can douse, and more importantly, which will not allow the fire to erupt ever again in your life. And that super apparatus is your belief in God and some connection with God. That is the super apparatus. That is the super apparatus. Dr. Andrew Newberg, Dr. H.G. Coing, I am giving you the names, you can go on Google. The professor and the scientists at the University of Philadelphia and Pennsylvania, they had a wonderful scientific experiment done. Listen carefully. They had 4,000 people as subjects for this experiment of different age groups. First 1,000 were children of the age group of like 3, 4 to 12. Second one of the age group, second 1,000 group was age group from 12 to 22, the youngsters, teenagers and youngsters. Third age group was 22 to 60, the working age that most of us are here today. And the fourth age group was 60 to 80, the retired old age people. Now they were all brought at the University of Pennsylvania. They were made to sit in the Indian sitting posture on the ground, and that is on the floor. And whichever form of God that they believed in, all these 4,000 were different ethnicity people from different ethical backgrounds. And before the start of the experiment, by special psycho-neuro softwares, their CT scans were done, MRIs were done, so that to check the secretion of hormones in their body. Then they were asked to chant the holy name of God with their eyes closed in the meditation posture for 12 minutes. Experiment repeated over 3-4 times. Then they were asked to go back their homes to do this every day at least once for another about 8 to 10 weeks. Again they were all called back. Again, by psycho-neuro softwares version 2.0, their MRIs were done, CT scans were done, the release of hormones in the bodies were checked, and the final conclusion reports, they write that by chanting the holy name of God for just 12 minutes a day, the age group of 4 to 12, that is children, they had about 25 to 35% gain in their memory power. Isn't this a big gain? Those in the age group of 12 to 22, the teenagers and the youngsters, they had about 15 to 20% increase in their willpower and confidence. Isn't this a gain? The third age group, 22 to 60, most of us, had about 17 to 20% improvement in their capacity to buffer. That is the buffer capacity to handle situations. That is, be strong against the unwanting and not liking happenings of life. क्योंकि जितने भी झटके आने हैं वो इसी एज ग्रुप में आते हैं, 22 to 60. So their buffer capacity increased. And the last age group was 60 to 80, the retired and old age people. They had surprisingly about more than 25% increase in the strength of their immune system. So absolutely a scientific experiment on chanting the holy name of God. They said this 5 gains by chanting the holy name of God. What a wonderful apparatus to douse all the fires within. Wonderful memory. That is increase in memory power, increase in your confidence level, increase in your willpower, increase in your buffer capacity to absorb the shocks of life, and increase in your immune system, the strength of your immune system, most wanted today in the COVID times. And we pray that the fourth wave doesn't creep in, but IIT Kanpur has forecasted that from the third week of June, probably there will be a fourth wave in India. But we today pray in this conference to God that it doesn't creep in. What I mean to say is, this is a wonderful apparatus that can detect a smoke of a fire within. If at all a fire, it can douse. And more importantly, it is an apparatus that will never allow a smoke or fire within lifetime. Chanting the holy name of God. So, Bhagwan ka bhi shraddha rakhna. So, in summarizing everything in 5 lines, so you have a good takeaway. First, value-based living, value-based working, and value-based relationship. Second thing, intense hard work, healthy competition with a sense of unity. Third thing, positive attitudes. Become a prosperity thinker, don't become a poverty thinker. That is, positive attitudes towards people, towards happenings in life, towards life in general. Fourth thing, by your intense faith in God, you can imbibe such values like confidence, willpower, buffer capacity, immune system strength in your life. And the fifth important thing, as the essence word of everything, is that connect. Connect with God. So learn a device from this conference. Learn a procedure from this conference. यहाँ आए सिर्फ खाने पीने के लिए नहीं, यहाँ आए मौज मस्ती के लिए नहीं, यहाँ ये कुछ shows भी होंगे, entertainment भी होगा. That is part of the whole package and a part of the whole conference, and it must be there. Learning and entertainment goes together. And you learn better with the support of entertainment. If you are positive, if you are leaning towards it. So learn a device from this conference. Practically apply at your workplace. Learn a good new procedure from this conference, from your colleagues, from the fellow delegates, and also learn a value from today's speech. Thank you very much, and my all prayers for all of you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Swamiji, for your wonderful words of wisdom. And may I now quickly request Mr. Suresh Menon to kindly present him with a token of appreciation and a memento.
I forget. He's fine.
There's lots more to come in this evening. We are going to have bravery awards very soon and a big civil discussion.